Sophie just didn't understand I had to go. We couldn't continue to live like this, locked away in a cellar, never to see the light of day again, living in fear every moment that we might be captured and killed. I had to find a way out in order to save her. Everyone in town had heard rumors of what had happened to those taken by the Nazis. The trains were filled to the brim. They kept moving no matter what, set on course until they reached the camp. People had been divided into 3 categories: A for able-bodied, B for light work, and C for cripple. If you were a cripple, you were useless to them, just another to be killed. If you could do light work, you were kept around only as long as was completely necessary. If you were able-bodied, you were kept around longer, but eventually faced the same fate. We thought being labeled a cripple was a death sentence, but just being a Jew was to be the true death sentence.
I didn't want to let him go. Carl and I had always been close even when we were little children. We grew up in a small Polish town where the Jews had always lived in peace. We led a good life, but gradually conditions declined as time passed. All Jews were required to wear armbands. Some chose to take the armband off, but I knew better. A little boy noticed my friend not wearing hers one day and ratted her out to a nearby officer. She was shot on the street. Carl and I thought this was the worst of it, but we couldn't have been more wrong.
I survived the rigorous selection process. You would have to stand naked in a line and be inspected. Then you'd run. The only way to make it through was to run fast and hard, even when your entire body begged you just to collapse. Every moment you stayed alive was a miracle. If you didn't die, you wanted to die, just to escape the pain you were feeling. This was worse than instant death. It was gradual death by torture. Who knew if Sophie was alive or dead? I was responsible. When my parents were sure our family was to be captured, Sophie and I were ordered to stay in the hidden cellar to avoid being caught. My father told me to take care of Sophie. I was the man of the family, he said. Not long after we went into hiding, we were subjected to what must have been the cries of our parents as they were dragged away on the very floor above our heads. Sophie was my sister, the only family I had, and my only goal was to survive, just to find out what happened to her.
Slow down, you crazy child. You're so ambitious for a juvenile. But then if you're so smart, tell me, why are you still so afraid? Where's the fire? What's the hurry about? You better cool it off.
It had been many months since Carl left, or at least it seemed like it. I had no idea how much actual time had passed. Every day I'd say a prayer for his safety and that someday after the war was over that we'd meet up again. I had just enough to survive and a candle by which to write. Lighting the candle had been a difficult task in itself since there was very little oxygen in the cellar. The dusty, smelly old cellar no one ever went in. Boxes of junk that hadn't seen light in years lined the walls. Who knew what was in them? And then something caught my eye and triggered a memory. It was my bunny, a present from my parents as a child, a last reminder of their love and protection. It filled me with warmth and safety of happier times. They were watching over me.
Too bad, but it's the life you lead. You're so ahead of yourself that you forgot what you need. Though you could see when you're wrong, you know you can't always see when you're right.
The war was over.
I was free.
I was sent to a displaced persons camp with other Jews
Free
uprooted
to
during
go
the war.
to a displaced persons camp. It was complete chaos. People would go around asking each other.
I would ask anyone I saw, have you seen my
Have you
brother?
seen my wife, son, husband, daughter, sister? We were all searching for our families.
I was trying to find my brother.
sister.
No one wanted to be alone. We made long-lasting friendships. People got married and had kids. We simply bonded because of the common fact we were survivors
We were
of
the
the
ones
Holocaust.
that made it through this, our memories still embedded in our minds. After
So
leaving
the
the
question
camp,
was, What do I do now?
Sophie wasn't here as far as I could see.
Carl was nowhere to be found, but I promised not to give up on him.
There was still hope.
It's alright, you can't afford to lose a day or two. When will you realize Vienna waits for you? And you know that when the truth is told, that you can get what you want, or you can just get old. You're gonna kick off before you even get halfway through. Why don't you realize Vienna waits for you? When will you realize Vienna waits for you?
Here comes the sun, doo-doo-doo-doo. Here comes the sun, and I say it's alright. Little darling, it's been a long, cold, lonely winter. Little darling, it feels like years since it's been here. Here comes the sun. Here comes the sun, and I say it's alright. Little darling, the smiles returning to the faces. Little darling,